I don't know. I was trying to think of his name. The guy on Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh,
I can't remember.
what is his name?
Robert Stack.
That's it.
Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah, I was thinking of it when you were talking about his trench coat stuff, and I was popping in Robert Stagg while you're talking about that.
That show always freaked me out, dude. Yeah. Even like the normal shit on it, because they always put like a weird
music,
vibe and shit.
Weird vibe and music, yeah.
I always felt weird watching it. I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, I loved it. But there were some, like, I remember to this day that have affected me till this very moment.
Really?
There's one where I just saw it the other day, actually, and I was a kid. Now, when I resaw it, it's not that big a deal. But I still think of this every time. There was these people on a motorcycle, and a car came behind them, or a truck came behind them, and like something hit them in the back of the head. So now every time I hear something coming from behind, I think I'm getting smacked in the back of the head by some board or some shit.
So what happened to the person?
They died. Chick died. And that's why it was on, because nobody ever found the truck. The truck, it was like a hit and run thing. And they assumed that maybe the husband or boyfriend or whoever it was had something to do with it somehow, even though he was the one riding a motorcycle and he wasn't part of the truck. But I don't know. It traumatized me. So now every time something's coming up from behind me, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get hit with something. That is traumatizing. And there was another one that I'm not scared of anymore. But at the time, I had bunk beds with my brother, and there was one about a haunted bunk bed right after we got the bunk bed.
Oh, shit.
And I had like a nightmare about it and some shit, but it didn't affect me that much moving forward. But that night, I was scared to shit. I was like, oh, fuck. It's funny. But yeah, I love watching that show, and I've watched all like the new ones that they've come out with. But those new ones are just one story a show. Like the old show was 4 stories in like an hour segment. But
so they only got one.
Yeah. Yeah, all the new story, like all the new seasons, each episode is one story. So they go into a lot of detail about the story. So, and they're like way more current. So like you can actually help figure this out type thing. So I mean, it's still true to that. There's no like guy like Robert Stack.
Oh yeah.
It just has like it's just like watching almost like a documentary. Yeah.
What channel's that on?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They do them all. I think they've had like 3 maybe new seasons of it. And they're only like 6 episodes, hour apiece, one story. So it's interesting, though. They're pretty crazy. I've been watching it on Tubi, actually. Really? I've been watching it a lot here recently on Tubi. It was crazy, though, when you're watching it. Like, every episode, it'll show the update on the episode that had the story because they had the new updates or whatever. And they'll play the update again on the episode that your update originally aired on. So it was like, update on this. So you're seeing the same updates like 3 or 4 times just because you're watching the redo and everything. But I don't know. It's interesting. The only other episode I really remembered when it started playing was they did like an Alcatraz, like, did they really escape Alcatraz, or did they fail and die in the water?
What they say? Sharks got them.
No, they said that it was possible that they could have pulled it off. Now, the guys that were on the raft had a shittier time, but this guy, this like endurance swimmer, he swam the whole fucking distance from Alcatraz to the beach. So, like, he could do it. Not that these guys in prison are fucking Olympic swimmers, but...
If there's sharks in there and shit, though.
But yeah, they talked about that. Sometimes. It's not like all the time. But they did it under the same conditions that they were supposed to have done it. And the guys on the boat, like on the raft thing that they supposedly constructed, they couldn't do it.
Really?
They fought that raft was too fucked. So a swimmer could do it if you could because the water was cold, you get hypothermia and shit. So they were like, if they could. They could
swim it.
Yeah, but it would have just been. They probably wouldn't have because they wouldn't have the training to do so. Like if I don't know, maybe, but like I've always thought that was interesting. Like I've heard that they did make it. I've heard stories about them in South America or some shit.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And I've heard about a letter But because the episode talked about this letter that the place received later on, saying it was one of those guys, like, "Hey, this is me," like, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. And they did that DB Cooper. They had a whole episode of DB Cooper too. The guy. Well, maybe it wasn't a whole episode. But yeah, they did him, and I remember that episode. Some of them stand out. I was like, oh, I remember this, and I remember this one. Some of them like, wow, this is crazy. I don't remember this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been watching that a lot here lately. The reruns of that shit.
That's cool.
That's short. I can only take like a minute, 5 max. Like, hey guys! They're like,
That's a short.
shit talking on our ass. How drunk are these guys? They were like, fuck this.
That's a short.
Check us out every week on YouTube,
Instagram,
Facebook,
and Spotify.
Oh shit!
That's short.
You guys have a good time. See you later.
What the fuck was that?